bigger, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you do look identical.
I got the most food.
Hey, who started this look first? Because the glasses are the same. The beard's
I've got a couple of years on him, so I think it was me, really.
Yeah.
He's copied me.
I copy him, yeah.
I think it's fabulous. Do you know that? I really do. You've had a chat to the auctioneer since Michael put that value on, which you were happy with.
Yeah.
Reserve of £500.
Absolutely.
It's been upped to £600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going on the value of silver at the moment, really.
The market is so up and down.
Your bottom estimate plus the buyer's premium is actually far in excess of the scrap value.
Sure.
So we've just got to hope that somebody wants it as a cut.
Yeah.
But it does make it a much more difficult proposition when a lot of silver dealers are just buying on scrap.
It,
Yeah. Hopefully someone will buy this and you guys will be happy.
Oh, yes.
Good luck. This is it.
Where did you start me on this one? Bids with me at 550, 560. I look for 570 in a room. 560 with me, 570 anywhere else. At £560, 570
Cool,
anywhere
come
else,
on, we need
560
600.
should be. Anybody coming in? 560, it'll stay with me at 560. 570 anywhere else? You sure?
No.
Last chance?
You slightly overcooked it. That's
The
600.
expert was right for once.
I hate to say it, it sounds like rubbing it in. The silver buyers were there, I can see them just over there, and they've got their price for the day.
Yeah.
And if it's £1 over that,
They're not going to buy it.
they're not making money, they're losing it. So I think the thing is maybe pop it away, and as I say, silver goes up and down.
Oh, well, back on the mantle.
If David picks his moment, he might get a really good price for his silver at another auction room. Well, that's it. Time is definitely up for Norman's watch. His Amiga is just about to go under the hammer. And I think it's a bit of quality, Norman. Hi there. Hello, Christine. Good to see you as well. He's flogging his watch for a weekend to take you away with. What a gentleman.
Right, yes.
What a gentleman. You see, that's love, isn't it? That's love. That's what it's all about. Do you know what? This will only go up in value in time. It's a good little investment.
It will, yeah.
We'll give it to our grandson.
Yeah, give it to the grandson. If it doesn't sell, this is going to the grandson, and you still get taken away for the weekend. Because he's a naughty boy. Let's find out what the bidders think.
Bids and interest in the hands telling me. Start at 150. £150 takes all these guys out. 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 210, 220, 230. 220, it's with you in the room at 220, taking the commission bidders out at 220. 230, do I see anywhere else? At £220 for the Amiga watch, at 220, all done.
Quality sales. £220. And how much did you pay for that in the 50s? You can't remember, we were earning about £1 a week, weren't you? It wasn't a lot of money.
Less Barrack Room damage.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You see, I told you quality sales. And that would be a great investment for someone's grandson. But it's too late.
It is too late.
You could have had Grandad's watch, but it's too late.
I didn't think it'd affect that much.
Let's hope Norman and Christine have a lovely weekend away together. Well, that's it. It's all over, and what a fabulous time we have had here in Stourbridge, a place steeped in history, and hopefully we've made a little bit of history ourselves with some of our owners' items. The atmosphere has been electric here. Everybody's enjoyed themselves. All credit to our experts, because it's not easy putting a value on an antique, as you've just seen. I hope you've enjoyed the highs and lows. See you next time.
The nation has spoken.
7 icons have been chosen.
But who will you choose as the very greatest of them all?
Join us for the live final of Icons, the greatest person of the 20th century.
Don't miss that Tuesday at 9. Next today, highlights from the Six Nations.
And am I being fired as your wife? Or as Caden's mother?
Mother, Father, Son, coming soon to BBC Two.
Prepare for Super Bowl 53. 5-time champions, the New England Patriots, battle it out with the Los Angeles Rams. It's Brady versus Goff, Belichick versus McVay. Witnessed by over 100 million fans worldwide. Don't miss one of the sporting spectacles of the year. Super Bowl 53. Tonight at 10:45 on BBC One and BBC iPlayer.
Ski Sunday from the home of the night slalom in an hour on BBC Two, after rugby highlights first on the opening weekend of the Six Nations.
Once you've beaten the All Blacks, isn't everything else just plain sailing? How could Eddie Jones plot the downfall of the Six Nations favourites? 20 years since Scotland won the last Five Nations title, would Italy be the opening step towards a first Six Nations crown? And France, 9 years since winning the championship against Wales, 9 international wins in a row, a bonkers opening salvo in rugby's greatest annual showpiece. Well, good afternoon, good evening. The 20th incarnation of the Six Nations underway in some style, and over the next hour or so, Jeremy Guscott and Jonathan Davis will attempt to explain the hows and the whys of some enthralling games on this opening weekend at the start of this World Cup year. And we're going to start in Dublin last night. Away wins are always at a premium in the Six Nations, and before the match, England were 3-1 against in a two-horse race, and they were even money with a 9-point start. So would being completely written off act as a red rag to the Red Rose?
Rory Best, hooker in the front row, leads Ireland. It's his 114th international cap today. Peter O'Mahony, such an influence in the back row. Johnny Sexton will direct affairs from the number 10 shirt, and Robbie Henshaw plays at fullback. He began his international career there a long time ago, but he hasn't played there since. England, well, the Vunipola brothers will give it drive and bulk. Mark Wilson comes into the back row, and young Tom Curry, just 20 years old, will be important at the breakdown. Elliot Daly at fullback. Owen Farrell leads from the fly half position, and Manu Tuilagi returns to the centre. The finishers, the impact players, will all have their part to play. Jérôme Garcès of France is today's referee. Owen Farrell gets us underway at the Aviva Stadium. Keith Earls with the first catch of the game. Conor Murray waits, scrum half, to get his first touch of the ball. Does Conor Murray go for touch? Does he keep the ball on the park? Ireland will test England's line out. Jamie George takes it quickly, long over the top. A first touch for Manu Tuilagi, tackled by Josh van der Fleer. Owen Farrell with a sudden change of direction. And again, England running their angles. Kyle Sinclair, the prop. Ben Young's at outside half. Tuilagi again into Ireland's 22. The little pop-up off the floor. Curry. Rory Best. Johnny Sexton tackled. The tackler, rather. Sinclair running at the hole left by Sexton. Jack Noel. Blue scrum cap off his right wing. Ben Youngs does a bit of reorganising. Billy Vunipola back, one-handed, gets the ball away. Now a real chance, Elliot Daly, and it's England who set the tone for the afternoon. Johnny May with the opening try. It all started with a bit of invention. The long ball at the line-out, the first charge of Manu Tuilagi, and then the changes of direction. variety from England. Billy Vunipola getting the ball away quickly. The long pass taking out Ireland's defenders. The finish by the Leicester Flyer. England, what a start. Ben Youngs looks and kicks. Keith Earls. Tom Curry arrives late. Penalty late. Chance for Ireland to make something of it. Sexton threads one through. Elliot Daly in pursuit. Back to that penalty we go. Keith Earls still down. And this is what Dublin thinks of it. Alexandre Ruiz, the assistant referee. Tom Curry, looks like a card is coming Curry's way. Late, leading with the shoulder. Tom Curry into the bin for 10 minutes. Conor Murray back in charge now. Sexton. Loose pass. Jérôme Garcés says play on. The change of kick, well read by Billy Vunipola, but he's left the ball behind. Jamie George in front of the number 8. Penalty to Ireland. Johnny Sexton not going for the posts, but pushing Ireland down into the corner. A line out 6 meters back. Tom Curry returns to the field. England back up to 15. Ryan with the catch. The crowd sense the drive from the line out. They've got the momentum. Have they got the power to finish it? No. England get the ball to the ground. Cian Healy with a little pickup. He's held short. Conor Murray goes digging. Van der Fleer. In these situations, Ireland don't look for width. They'll keep pounding away close to the line. Conor Murray twisting and turning on the blind side. Penalty advantage to Ireland. Healy. Alexandre Ruiz gives a nod of the head. Jérôme Garcés, the referee, awards the try. And it's prop Cian Healy who finishes the job. Ireland take the lead. Attacking line-out for England. Straight down from Cruz to Youngs. Manu Tuilagi takes on Van der Fleer into the Ireland 22. Naku Vunipola. Big forwards running at the 10-12 channel. Better by England. Daly, that little stab behind. Stockdale back. And it's going to be a try for Elliot Daly. Jacob Stockdale couldn't control the ball. Good anticipation by Elliot Daly. Good chasing of what might have seemed a lost cause for a moment. The reward for staying in the game. Ireland stretch those 4 men and then find James Ryan. It's not straight. Real chance for England at the end of the first half. Great position for England with the put-in, with that blind side, unoccupied at the moment. Jack Nowell is standing behind the scrum. Will Billy Vunipola have a little pick and go? He does. To Nowell. Nowell tried to turn, short. Johnny Sexton very much involved in the defence, out of action now at the bottom of this breakdown. George Cruz gets back to his feet. Vunipola over the ball. England have to use it quickly. Mako Vunipola now over the ball. A matter of inches for England into the last minute of this first half. Jérôme Garcés is right there on one knee, looking to see just how close England are. There's the ball, a yard short. Off they go again. Maro Itoje this time. It's some sort of advantage to England. Looks like a penalty advantage. Jack Nowell comes in. Jérôme Garcés has a good look. Time off. The ball would appear to be over the line.
The branding. Is it fully a double movement, yes or no? Okay, so please. Thanks. Then I have the grounding. So now, on field decision, it's a try. But is it a double movement, yes or no?
Glenn Newman of New Zealand is the TMO. Just checking if there was this double movement. Original on-field decision, or instinct, try.
So I have no try.
Had a look, no try. There's just a use of the right knee to lend extra support to the... England have a penalty, the original penalty against Ireland, no try. Owen Farrell extends England's lead at half-time.
9, 6, 2, stay. Okay.
Ben Youngs feeds the scrum. Henry Slade to Johnny May, good pass. Slade taken out. Henry Slade in pursuit, and that is England's third try, is it? Jérôme Garcés checks with Alexandre Ruiz. England celebrates.
I want to check if the pen is in front of the kicker, yes or no.
Checking whether Henry Slade is in front. They're just checking the offside line. Anybody in front of the kicker? Johnny May, the kicker. Oh. It's very tight.
Yes, that's right. That's right, yes, there's no clear evidence he's in front.
Jérôme Garcés is happy that Johnny May's long left leg took the point of contact in front of Henry Slade, and the try stands. Porter, he can't get out of the 22. Sean O'Brien. Well, he got a little further than most. Porter.
No, backwards.
No, it's not going to go. It's absolutely brilliant by Henry Slade. Read the play and made a fantastic job of hanging onto the ball, keeping his balance and scoring the try that will earn England the win and does earn them the bonus point. Pinned in their 22, Ireland have to take risks. Read by Henry Slade, catch in the gully, back on his feet, crawling to the line, but not a tackler in sight. It's going to be no Grand Slam for Ireland this year. Cooney, and again the bobbling ball. It's been a feature of Ireland's day. The passes have gone to ground. They have a penalty advantage. Sexton to Dave Kilcoyne. Sean Cronin with the breakaway. Cooney in support. John Cooney, a consolation try for Ireland. They'll get back as quickly as they can. Johnny Sexton all ready to take the penalty, which he kicks. Ireland 20, England 32. Breakaway by Sean Cronin. Try-scoring pass to replacement scrum half John Cooney. Sean Cronin, and again, it's Henry Slade who reads the play and puts Ireland into all sorts of trouble. George Ford runs the ball out of play, knowing that England finish the game in Irish territory, in control, as victors. England, a tricky away game, and how well they've come through it. The final score, the defending Grand Slam champions, Ireland 20, England resurgent 32.
It was a tough old game. We were obviously playing one of the best teams in the world, and we had to roll our sleeves up, be tactically good, and we did that. And I thought particularly our response in the second part of the first half was excellent, where we probably won the game. Yeah, we started the game well, but then fell off a little bit and allowed them back into it. But we reasserted our authority and scored that try just before half-time.
We did get out-muscled. They had a real physical intent right from the start. They beat us. They beat us up. You know, there was some real physical firepower out there.
We knew Ireland weren't going to go away easy, and it was a good old wrestle, and that's the way you want to. That's the way you wanted the game to go, and you want to be involved in those big games, and thankfully we came on the right end today.
Along the road to where you want to get, there's a lot of bumps, and you got to find a way to get past them, and this felt like a roadblock, and we'll see how we can push past that now next week, and that'll be a measure of whether it's a setback or whether it's just something we're going to have to learn from.
I think we had to defend a lot of for large parts of that game, and I think where we worked just sort of reflected our last couple of weeks in training. Really, we set out what we wanted to do and how we wanted to play. I thought we did that really well today.
England were excellent, Eddie. Favourites for the Six Nations?
All I know is that we've got to play against France next game, and we've got to roll our sleeves up and rip in, and that's what we'll be doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, the back pages were almost a football-free zone this morning because, well, the English editions at least, because My Oh My one headline, Slade was a big hit, and, you know, come on, feel the noise of England, and the best is yet to come, perhaps. Nobody really saw a performance like that coming, certainly not a margin of victory like that. Jerry, did you, even at the back of your mind, think there was the vaguest possibility of that?
No, the team looked good on paper. Whether it could perform as well as that was always the question. The game was hugely confrontational, and England won that confrontation. I think they were clinical in attack. The defence was rock solid. There were lots of two-man defensive tackles on one Irish runner. They dominated the aerial game, the kicking game. Everything they tried worked. They were so precise, so accurate, and well done to Eddie Jones and his coaching team to have them for a couple of weeks and get them so well drilled. You just didn't see very many mistakes.
I couldn't see that, you know, how the bookies made Ireland such firm favourites, you know, because I thought, looking at the team sheets, you know, England were capable of, you know, of good things, and they'd done that at the start of Eddie Jones's coaching career. I know they'd fallen off a bit. The capabilities, a fresh start. I like, as Jerry said, the balance of the side, the balance of the midfield, you know, with left and right-footed kickers. And then when they brought the intensity and the physicality, then all of a sudden, you know, you had a real test match.
I know everybody always says when they're involved in top international sport, we don't read the papers, we don't listen to the radio, we don't watch the television. But there was so much hype before this game, and every supplement had, you know, who's going to win it? Whether it was great ex-players from Ireland or great ex-players from any of the Six Nations and beyond, who was going to win it? Everybody said Ireland. So how much would that have been an incentive for England?
I don't think everyone said Ireland. I think, you know, again, going back to the capabilities of the English side, and again with Tuilagi there, Vunipola, they had two ball carriers which were hugely influential. Yeah, it does, you know. On form, you had to pick Ireland as favourites. You know, they've had an amazing, you know, 12 months. The regions are doing exceptionally well. Individually, they're doing great. So, you know, you had to go and as home advantage as well. And away wins are very difficult to get in the Six Nations. So clearly, it used to be, apart from this weekend. So all of a sudden, you know, if you were a betting man, you would bet on Ireland.
What a start for England.
Well, they showed their intentions this comes from this. First of all, over the top line out, you know, Tuilagi takes it in, and then this is what happens. And again, it's another drive. Vunipola goes in, and he doesn't go to ground. He flips it over, and just watch there. Murray is way back in the defence. He should be there, right? Now, Earls has got to make a decision. Does he go in? And I think if Connor's up, he stays and they push wide, because they've got plenty of numbers there, but narrow defence. It's a brilliant pass, puts him clear, but even then, if they communicate, Henshaw could have gone onto the wing, and I think Ringrose would have got to Daly. Henshaw hasn't played full-back, very often. I think the last time he played was 2013 USA. I felt, although they were saying he'd played there previously, that was where he started, I still thought the aerial battle was going to be crucial. And to pick him, although he had, Gaelic football skills, to pick him full-back in a game of this magnitude was a bit of a risk. And I felt England won the aerial battle, and they showed their intentions. Beautiful pass. I think they've done their homework on the narrow Irish defence, and we'll see it later on. They beat them again.
We're talking about doing homework and having a game plan and sticking to it. Immediately after that try, this happened, and that showed how England had got everything planned.
It's immaculate. You just couldn't dream of the start that they had, scoring the try so quickly and so emphatically, and being accurate with all their passes and taking the ball into contact. And this is the drills that they would go through on the training park, getting everybody in position, Youngs orchestrating it, putting up a beautiful kick, which Conor Murray is renowned for, and Ben Youngs, they say, is a bit inconsistent in that area. It's hanging, it's contestable. England sharp, regather, and then Ben Youngs has spotted a lot of space in behind, and within 20 seconds, England have gone from in their 22 defending to a nice long 70 metres up and putting pressure back on Ireland at their own ground, in their own 22, and that's forcing Ireland to play. I know it's early in the game, but it's putting question marks in their mind and doubt.
And even then, he knew the box kick was great. He knew Henshaw would be up there, and then when they regathered the ball, he knew Henshaw was on the ground. So the good kick, irrespective if it hadn't gone into touch, they might have had the line-up as well in the opposition 22.
In those early stages, Ireland knew England were going to come at them, but do you think they came at them with greater intensity than they might have expected?
I think, having watched Ireland over the last 12 months and watched their regions a lot, they have been dominant. Their forwards have been dominant against most of the sides, regional, club, European, international, and they've played on the front foot. So it was a real test, and I thought when you had Vinopolas running at them, Curry, they were all just so ferocious. And I think they were, well, as Schmidt said, they were bullied. And they were overrun with the physicality of the English side.
I think they would have expected it, though, because they played against these guys in the European Cup competitions. And it would be naive, I think, not to expect Manu coming through, Billy coming through. It was going to be happening. We didn't see the impact as people like James Ryan, CJ Stander really putting their mark on the game.
Yeah, and on that as well, I thought that Sexton should have varied his game a little bit. He was flat and the line speed was coming up, and he should have held his depth a little bit and kicked to the corners and put the pressure on England. But they tried to play the same kind of game, and they weren't winning the aerial battle. They were putting themselves under pressure from not turning the English pack. So, like I said, it'll be a bit of a learning curve for Ireland as well.
When you watch rugby endlessly, there are little moments that just happen in a game, and it's not necessarily always a try or something that turns a game, but it can be just something that is a typical example of where the game is won and lost. And this is what you've picked, Jerry.
For me, the game is in the balance. It's 17-13. Ireland are playing out, wanting to put pressure on the English defence, build it, get them panicking, get them thinking a bit too much. Ball comes out to Ringrose. Sexton wants it. He's already scanned. He's seen the space. They've got the overlap. Quick passing. They're going to be in behind, possibly score, if not put a lot of pressure on England. But Ringrose spots Tuolangi, goes straight, and that is the mistakes that we don't normally see Ireland produce. I mean, they're very clinical. They get the scrum, quick passing, beautiful flat, legal pass by Slade, beautiful kick weighted by May, and Henry Slade is in there to finish off. But that's the pressure they put on Ireland. We saw uncharacteristic mistakes from Ireland during that sin bin phase. 3 mistakes. They normally apply the pressure there, kick 3 points, score a try. They didn't manage it, and that was some of the difference.
And again, the narrow defence. If you look at that, there's a missed one from the scrum, flat, and a second missed one pass, and the Irish defence were narrow. And then, Johnny May, you've got to mention him. I thought he was absolutely tremendous yesterday.
Yeah. And also, was yesterday the day that Henry Slade came of age as an international player?
He finally arrived, didn't he? I think it's 18 internationals, 13 starts, and that was his first Six Nations start. So he has arrived. Jonathan Joseph, even thinking about Elliot Daly going to 13. It's Henry's shirt, as is Tom Curry's again with his battle with Sam Underhill.
And what I want to do as well is they didn't play in and out centres, so they swapped now and again, the centre partnership. So I don't understand why you don't go left and right centre, but they swapped and changed and kept the Irish defence guessing.
One final thought, because the old cliche that's always trotted out about coaching is 95% selection. Eddie Jones got it bang on, didn't it? By much debate about whether Daly should have started, but actually in the final analysis, the balance was just right.
It was. I thought what we saw there was more of the bruising carriers of England, particularly Tuilagi and Vunipola. But Elliot Daly, it was worth sticking with him because he's not been brilliant and commanding in the aerial battle, but yesterday he was.
OK, let's move on. Actually, there's a lot more rugby on BBC television tonight.
On Judgment Day, I won't fade away. I'll be pushing on till the rivers run dry. I've got to try. I'll be pushing on. I'll be pushing on. I'll be pushing on.
So plenty of ways to keep up with the opening weekend of the Women's Six Nations on the red button from 11 and then on BBC Two at 11 o'clock tonight. And you can watch it whenever you want, obviously on the iPlayer, as you can with everything. Scotland-Italy, live from Murrayfield next Saturday, 1:15 on BBC One. Rugby specials at 6 o'clock next Sunday evening. And from tomorrow morning, you can pick up the Rugby Union weekly podcast on 5 Live. Match of the Day 2 tonight, obviously tonight, as ever. And in fact, you can't move for sport on BBC television this evening.
Prepare for Super Bowl 53. Five-time champions, the New England Patriots, battle it out with the Los Angeles Rams. It's Brady versus Goff, Belichick versus McVay. Witnessed by over 100 million fans worldwide. Don't miss one of the sporting spectacles of the year. Super Bowl 53. Tonight at 10:45 on BBC One and BBC iPlayer.
OK, well, next stop is Murrayfield, and the last time that Scotland played Italy on the opening day of a Six Nations weekend was the opening day of the opening weekend of the Six Nations 20 years ago. And the score that day was 34-20. Spooky.
Athletic take from Russell. Ball stabbed forward off an Italian body. It comes and Hayward can't quite get to it. Nice pick up by Tommy Allen. Chance again for Sebastian Negri.
Ball is out. Ball is out. The
Ball is out, so Scotland pour forward and claim it now as Italy doze. And into the 22 again.
Okay, 3, no. Equally out.
Lost in translation, I think, for the Italian forwards now. And crossfield it goes. Little stab. He's seen the space, and can Kinghorn take it? Running onto it. Kinghorn for the try. Glorious finish by Kinghorn. Great skill and vision by Finn Russell. And Scotland have the opening try of the match.
Really well executed. A fourth try for Blair Kinghorn. This is the contentious piece of play here. Luke Pearce called it. Was out 3 times. Greg Laidlaw listened, reacted fast, and popped the ball away to Gilchrist. And then from a turnover, just watch this piece of skill from Finn Russell. Looks to give the pass, realises it's not on, still has the awareness to see Blair Kinghorn right out on that left wing side, keeping his win. And an immaculate crossfield kick, well finished.
Terrible alignment from the Italians, though.
I think because of turnover and because there's a contentious around the turnover from the Italian point of view, they're not reacting quick enough. Really well executed by Scotland.
Set!
And it goes with some abandoned straight feeds. The scrum is a bit of a mess again, picked up by Strauss. Onto Laidlaw, switch of play now. Russell gives it on to Johnson. Loop around from Russell. Then it's Stuart Hogg, gets the ball away to Kinghorn, number 2 for Blair Kinghorn. Well, what a start for the youngster, and a decent enough start for Scotland. 2 tries to the good after the first quarter, 10-3 in front.
Well, that's a set-piece try. We mentioned that Italy needed 2 players on that left-hand side, Scotland's right-hand side, and it was a dummy play down that right side that set Palazzani the 9 there as well. And in the loop back to Finn Russell, Stuart Hogg hits a really good straight line to hold the defence, manages to get the ball away a little bit scruffily. But again, Blair Kinghorn's holding that left wing side, holding the width, picking up and scoring the second try of the day.
Bruno Palazzani went out the left of the screen there as he bought the switch of play. And Kinghorn, well, he wants to play full back. That's his favourite position, but he's got great pace, and as a winger, here we are, 2 tries for Scotland. So McInally once more, pressure this time, but Ryan Wilson has it, and Strauss feeds on. Laidlaw now looks for a bit of a gap here from Tommy Seymour. Tommy Seymour skipping on. Parise claims him at the last, 5 metres out. The offload to Johnson. Johnson rolling around. Still short. And Scotland look and hope for quick ball to move it. Hugh Jones now. Hugh Jones tries to find the miracle route through, and Italy set their defence. Russell through the middle, it goes, and it will be Stuart Hogg to the ball. No, not quite. Esposito was there, and while Hogg celebrates, have his fingertips done it. Huge in-goal areas here at Murrayfield.
He's definitely onside. He's been able to try. Perfect.
Well, try is given. He did get the touchdown. Try number 3 for Scotland.
Nice work, Stuart.
I'm surprised he even looked at that. Good attack, was a set-piece attack from the line. A wonderful pass. One pass played to Tommy Seymour, who sliced through the Italian defence. Couldn't quite get the ball away. This is a hit from Greg Little. The detail on the running lines and the angles of dummy lines has been exceptional. We saw that in the first half. Scotland recycled the ball. It's that man Finn Russell this time, not distributing with his hands, but setting up a try. And a lovely little dink through. Does Stuart Hogg reach it ahead of Esposito? Yes, he does. Doesn't need control because the ball's been kicked into the end goal. All he needs is downward pressure.
Stuart Hogg, 19th try for Scotland. Scotland have the advantage, but they have the ball anyway. Lovely pick up with one hand.
Advantage over.
And slighted that hand to find Alan Dell.
Okay.
And the gap suddenly appearing, and Jamie Ritchie crashing through into the 22, looking for supporters there now. Laidlaw gives it as Kinghorn again with a dummy in the score. Hat-trick for Blair Kinghorn. Try number 4 for Scotland. A bonus point is coming, and Blair Kinghorn does it again.
Well, it's his hat-trick try. It's best of 3. A brilliant finish. A lot of build-up from Scotland. Finn Russell pulling the strings. Alan Dell breaking the line. Jamie Ritchie coming on a really good angle of Greg Laidlaw. Greg Laidlaw then recycles and gives it to that man, Blair Kinghorn. He still had a lot to do. He used his footwork, his bend, his strength, and the pace when he hit the ball was just exceptional. It's a bit unfortunate there, but watch the sleight of hand by Finn Russell. Alan Dell carries this hard. But he's not just the sleight of hand inside, it's the fact that he effortlessly picked the ball up off his toes at pace. Yeah, and this is the finish. The dummy, the step inside, the break of the tackle. He's such a comfortable ball player. That's a good line by Jamie Ritchie as well. Rolls the ball back to Greg Laidlaw, and then this is the finish. The hat-trick try, the footwork. Bonus point try for Scotland.
And now the pressure on the throw of Luca Bigi. As to the go-to man, Parise, and down it comes, and it is to Albiiti.
Step, please.
Kinghorn takes it and gives Hogg a chance to a lovely step from Stuart Hogg. Oh, he's clean through, he's got support inside and out, and Tullis is there. Tullis takes it, then the hit comes in as he was blindsided for a moment, juggling with that ball. Russell looks and finds Strauss, and Strauss outside is Harris for the try. And Scotland pouring in the scores now. Chris Harris with his first try for Scotland.
Well, it goes back to the kick from Ali Price to set up this counter-attack. Stuart Hogg, bottom 2 hands, wonderful footwork, slices through the fence. Watch it delay, holds it, he looks the kick and then pushes the ball through to Joe Strauss, who then offloads to the support of Chris Harris.
So Scotland, 9 penalties now. They've given up. Can Italy take advantage? Just lobbed gently to Federico Ruzza. Scotland deciding not to challenge that one and pour everything into the defence of the Maul. And Italy get moving now, closing in on that line. Even Campagnaro comes in to earn his way from the wing, advantage, and it's going to be a yellow card coming here, penalty to Italy.
Number 17 was the man who was instrumental in destroying that, so...
Relax, just relax, everybody, relax.
Jimmy Batty is the man to
I need to give a card first.
Card, so last man up gets the card.
Collapsing ball, number 18.
Wow, Simon Bergen gets the yellow. So Scotland are missing a bit of beef now in this defence. Tuivasa takes it. 10 minutes remaining. The victory is beyond Italy, but looking for a try here, and it's carried in by David Sisi. Palazzani himself goes, and the scrum half surely gets there. Try given. And Italy have something, a small crumb here at Murrayfield.
Let's go.
They have a man advantage, and they have a try to cheer.
Thank you.
In the last 2 or 3 attacks, with those, the line speed, the speed at which the ball was going forward, they've been far sharper in this last phase. And that time there, they got to the outside shoulder of the defender every time, got over the advantage line, and then Palazzani gets his reward. He's made 2 or 3 line breaks, but it was that wider pass to David Sisi that allowed the defenders not to get around the corner, so he could attack that space, and he deserves his try.
Okay.
There's Tuivasa and Traore with a spill, didn't go forwards.
Thank you, backwards.
Campagnaro taken by Hogg. Palazzani now finds Ruzza, and Ruzza, the men outside, Traore there, and infield it goes, and it's going to be tried. Padovani, second try for Italy.
He's just attacking space. We've said it time and time again. There's the recognition of the space down the left-hand side. Scotland are pretty skinny down that right-hand side. They all float back in to Padovani, who's looked sharp since he came on. Is that Ruzzi? But they all float back inside. Gets his hands free. But prior to that, much better attacking shape from Italy.
Hayward with a step around the flying up Harris. By Ruzza finds Campagnaro. Campagnaro is Esposito. And Esposito waiting. And Esposito is in. Try number 3 for Italy. Near enough under the posts. And Italy finishing in grand style here.
And you know what, Chris? I don't think Graham Townsend will be very happy with this.
No, I think Scotland's defence is much narrower. Obviously, Simon Berg's in the bend as one man short, but credit to Italy as well. They've moved the ball to space. They've got 1 or 2 offloads. Ruzza there with another offload. Good decision to put the ball back inside.
It's a strange old match. A very, very comfortable win still in the end for Scotland. Only 13 points the difference on the scoreboard, but Scotland ran away with it, and then Italy came back, and Scotland finished in rather messy fashion.
We needed more. I think we could have upped the pace at times, and we did that at the beginning of the second half, and that really got us head in the scoreboard and showed that if we work hard off the ball, we can make the most of the ball we have. The last 15 minutes was disappointing. Obviously, the yellow card had a bearing on that, and Italy playing well, Italy running the ball from deep. So we've got a few areas to improve, but overall, the first 60 minutes, we're very pleased.
We didn't play to the level that we wanted to until right at the end. It's great that the bench made the impact that they did. Great that the guys stood in there rather than hanging their heads. And these are all, steps forward. But it feels we're not looking for a pat in the back. We feel really disappointed that we couldn't show our absolute best out there today. But you also saw that there's so much going in the right direction for us.
Well, perhaps an expected result, but you were with Thomas Castagnet in Paris on Friday night, and he was saying the one player in the whole of the Six Nations that he loves watching more than anybody else, with good reason, is Finn Russell. What did you make of his performance yesterday?
Yeah, I thought he was brilliant. He had an armchair ride. He controlled the game. But I'm impressed with all the Scottish backline. This is what he does. This is from an Italian turnover, so the defence rush up, so he just picks the narrow defence, puts a lovely kick. And, Kingholm is over, so it's lovely vision. Here, he strays to the right first of all, Laidlaw. He comes along, does the loop. It's a Super Bowl pass that goes forward, but get away with it. But he creates the extra man on his second try. And this again, he controls it, he's patient, holds the line, and then puts a lovely kick through for Hogg. So he orchestrates as well. And again, just watch, he just gets it, he plays flat, and it just draws the defence out. And again, it's the Italian defence, you know, that 6s and 7s, they were rushing up. And he just picked them off, really. You know, he just waited there. You know, the mistakes that the Italians did from turnovers, knock-ons, put themselves under pressure. And, you know, he had great composure and brought everyone else into the game. So they've got to keep him, you know, healthy, fit and healthy, because he's the one that makes them tick.
Last season, I think we saw Finn looking for the miracle passes, the real 20-yarders, and against England, it really came off. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then they went to Ireland, and it didn't. And I think now that he's gone over, he's experiencing that French rugby. He's playing amongst world-class players who've got a lot of experience. And he's like a sponge at the moment. He's sucking that all up, and then he's taking his time on the pitch, making the right decisions.
But time is the key thing, isn't it? How much time is he going to get next week against Ireland, who are going to be quadruply fired up
hungry,
after yesterday?
I think what it is, if you know, I remember they came to Cardiff in even November and last Six Nations, and I thought they tried to play too much football. And the pressure was on, and they couldn't get that ball carry and go forward. And then he played too much lateral rugby, and they got smashed. So when Ireland come to Murrayfield, you know, if they can get parity up front, and he controls the game properly, which he's capable of, and not put themselves under pressure, you know, Scotland, you know, have the ability to be behind to win, but he'll have less time. He'll have to manage the game a lot better, and it's really down to the Scottish forwards to give him that platform.
There's a bit of heat on Finn because that Scottish pack, is it going to be able to cope with the power that Ireland bring? And I had a chat with John Barclay about that yesterday, because they play with what they have. There's no point in them trying to play the arm wrestle strong game because they haven't got that front five that can power through the front five of someone like Ireland. So they have to be cute with their decisions. They have to be precise.
Yeah.
And if they do that, they can have games like they did against England, and they can beat anybody. But if they're a little bit off that and with no power, they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Are Italy going to beat anybody? I mean, it was a fantastic day yesterday for Sergio Parise, you know, a record number of appearances in the Six Nations. And if he played for any other team, he would have been a sporting superstar on an extra scale.
He would have been.
But...
Yeah, the front five has been strong, you know, and but once they kind of try and evolve their game, they do struggle. Tibaldi were injured before the game, and that was a huge blow. There was sickness in the camp in the week, which didn't help them. But, you know, listen to Connor, you know, the regional sides have gone a lot better this year. They're fitter, they're bigger, but their core skills let them down yesterday. You know, they had overlaps, they knocked the ball on, they had counter rucks which put themselves under pressure, then they just sprinted out to the line with no communication, which then Finn Russell picked off. You know, the under-20s beat the Scottish under-20s, so the development is working there, but you know, at this level you can't make the number of mistakes that they are making.
And the perennial debate about promotion and relegation in the Six Nations has reared its head again this week, with World Rugby perhaps hinting that they would like to see it considered anyway. What do you think?
I think Italy have answered the critics of that in so much as they've beaten Japan, they've beaten Georgia, who a lot of people have asked they should be up in playing the Six Nations. They've done that. The frustration is they haven't improved as much as Argentina have in the Rugby Championship, but at least they're trying. The end of that match where they scored 3 tries, OK, people will say Scotland maybe switched off a little bit, but they've still got to be able to produce the skills to score those tries. They just need to start it a little bit earlier in the matches.
OK, well, we're going to finish where it all began, actually, at a rain-sodden and a freezing Stade de France in Paris on a Friday night. And for all the thousands of Welsh fans who didn't make it over, in many ways they were the lucky ones because they were able to sit at home in the dry, in the warm. But for the first 40 minutes, they must have been completely and utterly bewildered.
How you go now? Don't go on the side. Hands up!
Para, Lopez, Ntamak gets back to his feet. Thomas Williams tried to get over the ball there. This is Jefferson Poirot. Josh Navidi unable to get his hands on the ball. Antonio against Rob Evans. Nedar, Picamol cuts back inside. Can he be stopped? No! Too much power from the French number 8.
They went through the phases. Some of the phases were very, very slow, Paul, but as they approached the wedge trial, it speeded up, and they had, you know, an overlap on the right-hand side.
France's lead, 5 points to 0.
Thank you, just stay there. Thanks.
Here's Damien Penaud, and this is a glimpse of just how elusive the winger is. France through their centres, through Wenceslas Loré, through Yoann Huget. Huget for France's second try.
Fantastic play from the, I suppose, second row forward, turn number 7 on the edge.
Yeah, it just sucks in George North, doesn't he? Just watch, as he comes out here, it's man on man, and then George goes for the wrong player, and the ball out the back door. He steps in, he's got to stick on his man. You've got to have confidence in your inside defender.
Merci.
We're into overtime. Justin Tipperick led the charge. Good pickup by Poirot. Willemse. Navidi and Tipperick trying to hold him up, but he's a very heavy man. Lopez, left-footed, drop goal. Successful, and France go in at half-time with a very healthy lead. They deserve it. They lead Wales by 16 points to 0. Tipperick to Navidi, tackled by Varmaina. Tipperick again, Moriarty. The crowd like the defensive operation. They don't like this from Josh Adams. Thomas Williams will score for Wales.
A try out of nothing, really. It looked like Wales were going nowhere. The ball was really slow. France were just spreading out.
Great support as ever by Thomas Williams. As Twa says, a try out of nothing. He's run at the forwards. He's picked them out. Support on his shoulder. It's a very good try. Wales are back in it.
Bye.
Louis Picamol makes a point from the back of the scrum. This is the front row.
Stay close.
Wales hold up well.
Advantage.
Penalty advantage to Wales. Hadley Parks who threads one through. Yoann Huget back, lets it go, try for George North! Oh, and Yoann Huget hangs his head behind the goal line. Wales are right back in this.
That is an absolute howler.
A howler, and it was a great piece of advantage by Wayne Barnes because it was such a bad kick. It looked like nothing was going to happen. You expect him to blow his whistle long before this, but he just lets it play out. And in fairness to George North, it wouldn't have been an easy pick up there. It's a great finish. My God, incredible, incredible.
2:21s. Gareth Davis replacement for Wales. Baptiste Serin for France.
There you go.
Advantage.
Penalty advantage to Wales. Dan Biggar with a free play. In comes Hadley Parks. Picamol tries to hold him up. It's there. Davis. Free play still for Wales. Tipperick to Corey Hill. No advantage.
Back we come. Scrum.
Step up.
A
Dan
chance
Biggar.
for Dan Biggar to put Wales in the lead.
I think that's why he came on early, you know. He's not as attacking as Anscombe, but they realise they're back in the game now, and the kicking game and the penalty kicks are going to be vitally important. Hence the early substitution of Dan Biggar, I think.
How many times has Dan Biggar done this? His first of the game.
Got it.
Beautifully struck by Dan Biggar. And remarkably, the Welsh management look on as their team takes the lead at the Stade de France.
Set.
In it goes, it's safely there. Now it's not. Penalty to France.
I think that's the first scrum penalty of the game for France. We probably expected a bit more than that when we saw the weight difference. Very timely penalty for France and in a great position.
Camille Lopez, who took over the kicking duties from his Clermont teammate Morgan Parra. France retake the lead. 19 points to 17. 10 minutes to go, just under.
Advantage terminate.
So, the chase by Gaël Ficou is excellent. Lopez takes it. Varmaina stretches high. George North with the interception. George North will not be caught. A second try of the game. Wales back in the lead.
Why on earth would you throw that pass? You've just gone in the lead, you've been under pressure. Brilliant play by George North. He taps it in the air and he's away. You know, it's great wing play. He's got 2 tries now.
Still on the French side. Bamba. Tipperick can't get over the ball. Aldrit. It's gone loose. It's gone loose. Wales have it. Gareth
Incredible.
Davis off the park. And Wales, having trailed by 16 points to 0 at half-time, have turned this game on its head. And France have been beaten at home in the opening game of the 2019 Six Nations. And you can see what it means to both sides. The agony for France, joy for Wales. France 19, Wales 24.
You know, in the first half we didn't have much luck. Bounced the ball and we didn't really play the way we wanted to. We got away from our game plan and sort of allowed them in the game. And then second half it was just all hands to deck, you know, refocus, rejig, and then get back to where we know we can be.
The message at half time was, you know, just raise the tempo, and if we can get through 4 or 5 phases holding onto the ball, we'll create opportunities and chances, and we did that in the second half. And you know, as a team, we've forgotten how to lose, and they're probably on the other end of the spectrum. A team puts them under a bit of pressure, they've forgotten how to win a little bit. So yeah, we'll take it. It's the first one. Nice to get out of jail 16-0 down and win the game, and that intercept was pretty important.
Well, the biggest ever comeback victory in the Six Nations, and for what it's worth at this early stage, there is the table. Jonathan, what a crazy game.
Well, France picked a big pack, so the Welsh game plan would have been keep ball in hand, you know, and then run the big pack around. First half, I think, was the worst performance I've seen from Wales under Warren Gatland. They couldn't keep possession.
Under Warren Gatland in 11 years?
I think that was the worst I've seen.
Golly.
Made so many errors, and they gave France a platform to play. You know, they needed the confidence, they offloaded, and they were 16-0 in front. And then second half, I have no idea what France were trying to do. I thought the half-back stayed in the changing room. They gifted Wales 2 tries, and they were back in. So, you know, it was just crazy play for international players. Unbelievable.
And made George North man of the match.
Yeah, it's another crazy decision. But look, this is the first one. They got advantage. It's a kick, and they said it's not a greatest kick, but the chase had to be on because you're going to slide in goal and have a scrum 5, and then that's a gift. You know, I don't know what he's thinking. He just got to slide and put it down. They're in front, and that was the start. He felt, right, okay, that's one. Then they scored the first try. 1 bad pass, 2 bad passes, and then Vaha Mina throws a 30-yard pass with 71 minutes on the clock when they're 1 point in front, and then George North intercepts it. It's a great opportunist try, but why on earth? There's 1 bad pass, 2 bad passes. They've just gone in front. That's all they've got to do is control where they're playing the game, Jerry. The conditions were dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
Wales will never play that bad
no.
and win, I don't think.
No.
It was the headline was coming back from 16 points. The try for where the winger cut back in and linked with your scrum
Josh
half,
Adams, yeah.
Josh Adams' breakthrough there was good, but the other 2 were gifted. It wasn't as if Wales applied enough pressure to really make the French team crumble. The French just gave it away.
Yeah.
We'll talk about France in a moment in the context of the match against England next weekend. But if we just talk quickly about Wales and the perennial debate, it wouldn't be a Welsh rugby discussion if it didn't focus on who was going to wear the number 10 jersey.
Yeah.
So who wears it next week, do you think, on the back of how Anscombe played?
I think Anscombe didn't play very well, but on the back of numerous errors. You know, there's the weight of the pass here in those conditions is too much, it's too hard. So then they get a good scrum for France, which they wanted to slow the game down. Then he had pressure kicks, which, you know, he's not Lee Halfpenny, but he's got to try and nail those kicks, and he missed those kicks. You know, he missed another one, which I thought, you know, he should have nailed again. And then all of a sudden, you know, there's an open field to go under pressure, they're back in. That's got to stay in field. Like, there's no full back there, the chase is on. He kicks it too long, and it was just a catalogue of errors where you needed someone to steady his ship. And just before half-time, it's got 20 seconds, someone's got to tap that in and then take it a touch. In fact, he missed his touch because he wanted to miss touch. And that just kind of epitomised the Welsh first half performance by everyone, and because he's the one who's supposed to control the game, questions will then be asked, oh, is it bigger, is it Patchell? I just think next week, dry conditions, Wales won't play as badly. They want to evolve the game they're playing. If they want to play an attacking style, he has got to be the number 10, I feel. Dan Biggar is an international world-class standoff. We know what he can do. We know that's why at 50-odd minutes, when Wales are back in the game, 2 points, bring Dan Biggar on. He will kick the goals. He will play in the right areas. But for me, going to Italy, they've got to try and keep playing as, you know, attractive, open rugby. And
as they will play against England 2 weeks later.
I think they'll have
the
to.
Conditions.
They'll have to.
I think they were very naive in that first 40 minutes, and they showed their inexperience.
Yeah.
Anscombe couldn't kick the goals. He was, as we've shown on the VT there, Thomas Williams wasn't as, you know, up together as you would expect Gareth Davies to. And I understand you've got a World Cup coming, and if this was a World Cup, this would be the lesser team that they'd be playing. So let's put out the second team. But I don't think it's quite
I just think, you know, it was,
play the conditions.
Everyone played badly in the first half. Everyone did, you know. And
you say that. Do you not think there were signs of an encouragement for the French, which they've got to take to Twickenham next week, or else they could be in trouble?
Pickermole's try I thought was superb. I mean, Uge's was George North coming in, that was a mistake, but the build-up to Pickermole's was tough, uncompromising French forward power. And if they can do that without errors, of course they cause England some challenges, but you just don't expect them to do it for 80 minutes. They will go to sleep, they will give away penalty, they will do something mad like that Vahat Mamina did. It's just in their makeup.
If you're picking that pack, you've got to put turn players and put them in the right position, slow the game down. Scrum liner, get the balls to carry. They pick Penno played well, Ontemark played well. You know, they have the capabilities of cutting people to bits, but they've got no discipline, and the pack is not fit.
And we're at Murrayfield next weekend. Thoughts?
If Scotland have parity up front, I think their back line are very, very exciting. But, you know, Ireland will come and they'll try and batter the Scottish pack. And that, for me, is a battle. If Ireland dominate up front, Ireland will win.
Low errors, low penalty count. Scotland might be in with a chance.
Yeah.
Might.
You've got to give them a chance now. Their back line is very, very good. They just need the opportunities in the platform, and that's what Scotland got to do. If they can front up and match the pack, they've got a great chance.
OK, good stuff. Well, it was a heck of a first weekend, though, wasn't it? Lots and lots of talking points, and it promises so much for the next 4 rounds of matches. As I say, we're at Murrayfield next week at 1:15, actually, we're on Saturday afternoon before the match between Scotland and Ireland. But England are currently favourites to be champions come March the 16th. Everybody else has got to keep up with Mr Jones. Bye-bye.
Six Nations starts in Paris. Wales have turned this game on its head.
Hat-trick for Blair Kinghorn, and Scotland pouring in the scores now.
It's England who set the tone. There's going to be no Grand Slam for Ireland this year.
Going to be a cracking pod with the great and the good of the Six Nations world all coming on.
Bickering, tangents and a host of special guests. Former England winger Ugo Monye and BBC commentator Chris Jones cover all the biggest issues in the game in the Rugby Union Weekly podcast. Download the BBC Sounds app and listen right now.
Time for a little race. cheated. Well, technically, we both cheated. I just cheated better than you.
Brand new Top Gear, coming soon to BBC Two.
Hold your nose, in 45 minutes we're going deep down into London's £5 billion super sewer. We start our descent now though on BBC Two, downhill to the sweet smell of victory.
Dropping.
Hello and welcome to Ski Sunday. This week we're in Schladming in Austria for a ski race that is the ultimate assault on the senses.
Racers accelerate towards a relentless set of gates, blinded by the glare of floodlights and flares. Razor-sharp edges carve into a steep and icy piste, while the thunderous bellows of a raucous crowd add to the symphony.
To master these conditions takes a superhuman effort.
Aktiviere Head-Up-Display. Ladekurs, die Planei, Schladming.
Slalom racing under floodlights.
Maximales Gefälle, 54 Grad. Prüfe Oberfläche. Eis. Temperatur -4 Grad Celsius. Warnung, Audiogrenzwert erreicht.
Unbelievable noise level.
Das Ziel. Zeitabgleich -0,04 Sekunden.
Marcel Hirscher wins again.
Champion.
Well, that might be a tad over the top, but this truly is a race like no other. It's a standout date on the Austrian sporting calendar. There's nothing the home fans love more than watching their heroes of Alpine challenged on the Planei piste.
Yeah, that's right. Ski racing is as mainstream as sport gets in Austria. But later on in the programme, we're going to be meeting a woman who's starting to change that, with snowboarding muscling in on the traditional big show.
Oh my God, she's done it! And it is the gold medal for Anna Gasser.
Sportlerin des Jahres ist Anna Gasser.
What are some of the standout experiences you've had post-Olympics?
My hometown named elementary school after me. Also, ski racers want to take pictures with me. Like skiers want to take pictures with snowboarders now. That's crazy.
Stay tuned for that. It is a brilliant film. And Anna's an incredible athlete who's inspiring a completely new generation of snowboarders in this country. First, though, it's time for the ski racing. And as always, home hopes rest with Dave Riding. But he's not the only skier in the field with British blood. Graham's been to meet the Swiss Scot, Daniel Yule.
Yule going really nicely.
Beautiful skiing for the 24-year-old.
Brilliant skiing from Daniel Yule.
How much time did you spend in Scotland as a child?
Well, little time. I mean, I was born and raised in Switzerland, but as a family, we'd always try to go back once or twice a year. I mean, I still call it home. I mean, when I go back to Scotland or to the UK, I get the feeling of going home. Obviously, now with the ski racing schedule, it's really quite busy. I don't get to go back as often as I'd like, but yeah, I still love it there.
I've got a little fun quiz for you.
Oh dear.
This is to test your Scottishness. What do you eat with neeps and tatties?
Haggis?
There we go, haggis. Okay. What soft drink sells more than cola in Scotland?
Oh, that's an easy one. Iron Brew.
Okay. What does Ardini Ken mean?
That's the what?
Ardini Ken.
I wouldn't know that one then.
That's exactly right. It means I don't know.
Okay.
What's a Munro? You should know this one.
I should know that. Isn't that some kind of little hill or mountain?
Yeah,
exactly.
They call them mountains in Scotland.
Yeah, I mean,
Switzerland, they'd be little hills.
In Switzerland, it would be a little hill.
Okay, a couple more. Historical question. Who came first, William Wallace or Mary Queen of Scots?
William Wallace.
Correct. So name this famous Scots.
That's the Loch Ness.
Yeah, the Loch Ness Monster. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think I did okay. I think I got away with
that. You
that.
yourself Scottish. How difficult was the decision to race for Switzerland rather than racing for the UK?
In a way, it was a pretty easy decision. I mean, as you said, I was born and raised in Switzerland. I did all my skiing classes in Switzerland. I guess when I was making the decision, I still viewed skiing kind of as a hobby. All my friends were racing on the Swiss team, and then obviously when you're 13, 14 years old, you have to spend a lot of time away from home for ski racing. You'd kind of enjoy doing it with your friends, so that's why I wanted to do it with the Swiss guys.
Daniel Yule is rocking the top turn. Yule leads in Schladming.
You've actually joined a very small group of athletes who've won a Slalom World Cup in the last 3 years who haven't been called Hirscher or Kristoffersen. What's it like competing in an event that has two incredibly dominant characters?
In a way, you kind of think, it's a pain because, I mean, obviously most of the time they're going to be on the podium, and that only leaves one spot for the rest of us. But then I find it's really rewarding to be able to go up head to head with the best of all time in slalom. It's kind of it's really a cool feeling, and then it gives an extra value to the performance that you can do. I mean, saying you won a World Cup when Marcel and Henrik were around, it's pretty cool. If you can get a podium or a win in slalom at the moment, then you've really been doing some great skiing.
I'm intrigued. Daniel Yule looks like the one who got away. There's no question he would have won medals if he'd raced for Great Britain, and he would have raised the general level of the team.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. He's got a British passport, British parents, skis for a British ski club, and actually competed at the British Championships when he was a kid and won those races. But I think at the time he was coming through, Snowsport GB, as was, didn't have anything to offer him. Alan Baxter had retired. In fact, the federation went bust in 2010, just before the Olympics in Vancouver. They're in a much better place now, and if you watched last week's show, you've seen that Charlotte Banks has actually converted from France to race for the UK in snowboard cross.
We can only hope. Now, enough about the politics, let's talk about the sport. How can Daniel and Dave do here?
Well, if you look at Dave Riding's record on this hill, it's consistent, but 10th has been his best. Whereas Daniel, well, he was 3rd here last year and has won a race this season. So I think you've got to go with Daniel as the better of the two Ds.
Okay, let's look a little bit further up the standings to the top. Marcel Hirscher has got daylight in the overall between him and second place. But critically, the last 2 weeks, we've seen Clement Noel beat him twice in a row.
Well, Marcel Hirscher actually predicted a regime change in Zagreb because he was having to push so hard to win. But this has happened before. 2 seasons ago, Henrik Kristoffersen had the beating of Marcel Hirscher, and Hirscher worked out a way of getting back on top. Never rule out Marcel Hirscher. He'll find a way back on top of the podium again.
This one is going to come down to the wire. It's the Schladming Night Slalom. Contested over 2 runs, only the fastest 30 from run 1 will ski again.
It never ceases to amaze me how this event captures the imagination of sports fans from around the world, and how the small town of Schladming manages to accommodate them all. The night race is something uniquely special, and if Marcel Hirscher wins tonight, the noise levels will be off the scale. 21-year-old Clement Noel from France. He's really set the slalom world alight. He's won the last 2 races. He's just 21. Last French, he's not even going to finish. I was about to say the last French winner here was back in 2011. Clement Noel never even got going.
Well, I think the word in German is Schadenfreude. Clement Noel, who won in Wengen, who won in Kitzbühel, is out of the race, and it throws the door wide open to the Austrian racers.
Alexis Pinturault from France. He's had some really solid slalom results so far this season. Look how low His upper body goes. Oh, a little mistake there, but great ability to recover for Alexis Pinturault, who comes from Courchevel, of French-Norwegian heritage, but races in the colours of France. 11 hundredths faster than Matt at the split, and he's adding to his advantage all the way down the Planai. 0.73 up now. Pinturault looks to be in good shape. Course for this first run has been set by one of the Swiss coaches. There'll be a French coach in charge of the second run, and that could help Pinturault. Meanwhile, he needs to complete the first leg, and it looks pretty solid for Alexis Pinturault. He will lead by quite some margin. Oh, goodness me, 1.66 seconds.
Next to go is Henrik Kristoffersen. Nicknamed the Wild Child, the Norwegian lives life in the fast lane and is as comfortable on two wheels as he is on two skis. Can Henrik open up the throttle on the Planai and roar to victory today?
Henrik Kristoffersen loves this track. He's won here 3 times, 3 years in a row, 2015, 16 and 17. Last year, his second run down the Planai was accompanied by a barrage of snowballs, and he rather lost his sense of humour about it. Marcel Hirscher went on to win. Kristoffersen hasn't been on his top form so far this season. He's been regularly on the podium, but without a win. That's unusual. He's been so solid for 6 or 7 seasons now. Narrow green light for Henrik Kristoffersen. Now it's gone red, and he trails Pinturault by 18 hundredths of a second. Kristoffersen starting to let them run now. Needs to drive for the line and hope he can go green. He's gone second, 15 hundredths behind Pinturault.
Well, Kristoffersen was lightning fast on the top part of the course. He's really trying, but perhaps trying a little bit too hard on the steep, just jumping into the air ever so slightly. And all those times the skis leave the ground, that's what cost him the time down there. Ready to race is Marcel Hirscher. The Austrian's legendary status has made him a huge star at home. He even has his own glossy magazine. Will Hirscher be on Vogue again in Schladming and record another win to add to his impressive back catalogue?
Hirscher is away. And the noise levels have just peaked in Schladming. And look at him go here. Oh, this is magnificent from Marcel Hirscher. 12.92 for Pinturault. Hirscher is a quarter of a second faster than the Frenchman. The winner here twice in the night race, 2012 and again 12 months ago. He'd love to put one down and be the last man to ski the second run, and that's looking like a distinct possibility now. Tens of thousands of Austrians here. They're going crazy for Marcel Hirscher, the most famous sportsman currently in his home country, with so many here to watch and support him, and he hasn't done anything wrong at all. Hirscher will lead by a full second. Fantastic. There's the Austrian president, Alexander van der Bellen.
Never write off Marcel Hirscher. Brilliant on the top section of the course, generating speed along the flat, and then brilliant again down the steep. That was a really impressive run, and it looks to me like everyone else will be racing for second place.
Daniel Yule, top Swiss slalom skier this season. This course, 63 alternating red and blue spring-loaded gates, has been designed and laid out by his coach. Might just give him a bit of a home advantage, but he'll need more than that to overhaul Hirscher's lead. 2 tenths behind at the intermediate for Daniel Yule. His parents are from Scotland, and he grew up in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. Half a second off the pace, still good enough to put Daniel Yule into second position if he can hold it together. Nice work there, getting a little tighter on the turns. The shins deflecting the spring-loaded gates away. Yule was the winner of the Madonna di Campiglio slalom before Christmas. His first ever World Cup win, and he's second in Schladming tonight. But nearly a